Hello everyone, Fluffy here. I try to go live, but I think it's I'm having to use the Wi-Fi from the hospital, so I don't think it's strong enough to allow me to go live. I tried twice, so those upcoming thingies that'll probably post they're untrue. That's my 2 attempts. Just want to get on here and share a few things with you. What happened? I've been here since not yesterday, Monday, but last Monday. Woke up last Monday morning at about 8:30, 9:30. Let the dogs out like always. Got myself some water, a cup of coffee. My tummy had been bothering me for a couple of days, but I thought it was my blood sugar numbers. You know how when they start to get a little better, I was warned that I might feel like crap. So that's what I thought it had been. But when I woke up Monday, I was not feeling a little well. So that's why I didn't make myself any breakfast. So I checked my blood, checked my medicine, and I just started feeling the pain in the gut happen. And I knew right away what it was. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So by the time I stood up, I was in full blown pain. So I walked around, tried to take antacid tablets, everything you do when your hernia has problems. Try to drink water. Well, what was different about this time was nothing would stay down. I'd chew on some antacid tablets and up it'd come with the water. Drink some water to chase it and up it'd come. Soaked in the bathtub 5 times, just could not get comfortable. It was horrible. So finally, I'm getting a lot of... I lower some of this so I got a really good view of the city, but it's not conducive to filming. Well, that goes down. So anyway, oh, excuse me. Oh, much better. Oh, now I got glare. So, at about 4 o'clock, I guess, I thought, you know what, I can't get this down, and I knew they said that if it came out and stayed out, then it would be an emergency situation, and then they would have to operate. So at 4 o'clock Monday, I started getting together a Ziploc bag. Yeah, my daughter's pissed off at me. Told no one that I was coming. Drove myself to the hospital. So about 4 o'clock, I started to get a Ziploc bag because I knew I'd be coming by myself, and I didn't want to have my purse or something, with me. So I put my driver's license, anything I thought I would need. Got it all together, went in the bedroom to put some clothes on, and I was so weak and exhausted, I just laid in the bed. And lay down for a couple of hours. I didn't sleep, but I tried. And the whole time I'm laying there, I think to myself, who's going to know if something happens to me? Nobody calls me. My family doesn't call me on the regular. I try to call my mom on the regular. How long would it take somebody to realize that they haven't seen or talked to me in a while? It's weird things go through your mind. So I was pretty scared. So finally I say, something's going to happen to you. You want to at least be in public somewhere. So I finished getting dressed, let the dogs out one more time, and I get in my car, and this hospital was the first one that I thought of. It's the closest. It wasn't my... Y'all, let's say it together, 3 cans of Musky Biscuit. But I came, and they've changed my opinion about this hospital because it's got a reputation. So they took me in and started working on me, gave me some medicine, and they tried to push it back in. And I got hurt worse to me than them not doing anything. So since he couldn't push it back in, he said he was going to consult with a surgeon and get a CT scan. So I go to the CT. It hasn't gone away, y'all. I go get the CT scan, I come back, and they're talking, and they said there's some kind of blockage, and so we're going to bring you upstairs. So I thought to myself, okay, well, then they put a G-tube in my nose. So I was like, oh my gosh. So that's when I decided to call the kid. Mom, how'd you get up there? Because I said, look, nobody knows I'm here. Mom, how did you get up there? I said, like a dumbass, I drove myself. Well, I'm glad you said it. So we come up here, they get me all situated, keep me high on morphine. Morphine, y'all, wasn't hardly touching the stomach pain, I'm telling you. So that was Monday night at 7, I came in. I got to my room about 3 a.m. Tuesday. They got me all settled in, resting as much as I could. Meet up with my surgeon, really nice man. We talk a little while, and he starts talking to me about the dangers of my getting hernia surgery. So the CT scan showed a blockage. He felt like it was bowel on bowel, that there was a kink in it, kind of like a water hose. So what he wanted to try either Tuesday or Wednesday, because now the time's away from me, because I had surgery Thursday. Tuesday or Wednesday, he wanted to try a method. So what he did was, I had the G-tube in there. And so he wanted me to, they were going to do more x-rays with contrast. And it was 2 different types of contrast, and one of them had a kind of a stimulant in it. And what he was hoping for was that the stimulant would force its way and make those bowels move to help maybe unkink them, to clear the bowel through. And so he said that would be our best case scenario, because then there's nothing more I would have to do. I wouldn't have to surgery. Because he said, your problem is with somebody your size, he said, it cannot be done orthoscopically because there's no room. He said that my hernia, my bowels, had been sitting outside my body for a long time. He feels like, and I knew I had my hernia for like ever, it felt like, he feels like I've had this hernia and it was caused by my C-section. And then as I've gained weight, pressure builds up behind it, and it was just getting systematically worse. So, he said, and because he can't orthoscopically do it, he has to cut me open, then you introduce infection. And that has been his biggest worry, that and popping the stitches. He said, if I do mesh, there's a big potential of it getting infections. If I just suture it, then you run the risk, first time you cough or whatever, of your popping the stitches, then we'd have to go back in. And all of these things kind of point towards having to go back in. So he said, so we're just going to wait and see. He said, your bowels don't look like they're in distress. He said, so we do have some time. He said, nothing's urgent right now. He said, but if it becomes urgent, he said, then I'll change with it. So, but let's see what this stimulant does. You know, I couldn't argue with it. Part of me didn't want the surgery. Part of me wanted the surgery to get it over with. But all these things that he's saying, it's not like he's just refusing to do surgery on a big girl. See what I'm saying? What he's saying and his hesitations for doing it were very legitimate. They were not arguable. So, the day we do the contrast, that G-tube was in, everybody's like, well, on the upside, you won't have to drink it. It'll go straight down. I'm thinking, okay, that's a plus. So, I'm going to finish the story through because I'm determined not to backstep, because I want to tell you about this G-tube, okay? They got full fluffy in the ER. So, they start doing the contrast, and it's this big old jug, okay? Got to put it all in. Well, I got most of it in, but my biggest thing was not vomiting, because if I vomited it up, then there would be no, it wouldn't stay. They got it all in except for like 200 cc's. So they take me back down to the x-ray, and they do x-rays on me. It's all I can do to hang on because, like I said, the morphine ain't working too much. They finally put me on Toradol. Y'all, the Toradol has worked better than the morphine. So they got it all in. I have to wait till the doctor reads it. Well, there's not enough in you to for it to move. Here's another jug. Go back upstairs and tell the nurses to put more down. Yeah. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So they get the rest of it down. Wait a little while. We go downstairs, 4 o'clock. And again, they do pictures. I'm sitting there miserable as can be because it's like the hernia. They've just filled it up. It's not going past. So they say, well, it's moving, but we'll have to bring you back or something. So then I get back up here and I'm just so miserable. It's all I can do to try to keep the stuff down. So then later on, one of the nurses go, oh, did they tell you they're going to bring you back down at 8 o'clock for some more pictures? I'm like, no. So I try to rest, close my eyes and rest until 8 o'clock. So I kept falling asleep. So they come to get me and they're staring at me and I'm like, y'all, I'm really trying to keep this stuff down. I'm just letting you know right now. I no sooner said that I sat up straight and there it came. One of these older nurses, all I saw was the flash of her blue uniform flying past me because she was in the line of fire. Y'all, I vomited from 8 p.m. until after 11:30. They waited. I kept throwing up here, and then they got me in the wheelchair, got me down there, vomited before I stepped out of the wheelchair to get onto the x-ray table. When they were done, before I got off the x-ray table, I was vomiting, got back up here. I was horrible. So finally, and what they had to do was that G-tube, they had to cap it off. Because if they had to put it on intermittent suction, that's it right there. That's the suction cup where all the stuff goes in. And so all that stuff had been just sitting there and then collecting my stomach juices because they knew something had to be processed out. So you'll have to move. My butt's hurting. I'm watching for X-rated. Okay. So I got up here and I thought I was done puking. So I sit in that wheelchair for a while, throw up a couple more times, and then I finally get into bed, and I'm laying there. Not 20 minutes goes by, and they still hadn't rehooked this up, and we're waiting for the doctor's orders. I sat up, and I just started ralphing again, and here comes the head nurse running down here, and she's helping me. They're getting me wet washcloths, and so she says, you know what? She goes, to heck with it. She says, I'm going to turn on this pump and get some of this out of you. Now, emphasis on some. Because what they do is when they have it on, they do it intermittently. Because the tube that's in your stomach has holes on the side and it suctions the stuff out. If they keep it on constant, there's going to run out of the stomach juices in between the tube and your stomach wall. And just like, then nothing will come out. She put it on continuous. Y'all, that one evening, I went through 5 of those. We ran out. They had to go get some more of those from another floor, even for a couple of days after that. Depleted my potassium. I've been on potassium almost the whole time that I'm here. And so finally, you know, she said, I don't want to go too much of it because we don't want that to adhere to your inside of your stomach. I was miserable for a long time. So I don't know if that went from Tuesday to Wednesday or we did it Wednesday. I think we did it Wednesday because the next day he comes in and he says, it was Thursday. He says, well, as you know, it didn't work. It moved a little, but nothing. I said, okay. So we start talking the surgery again and he's really concerned. And I think this happened Tuesday, and he left me alone on Wednesday. And so when he came in to talk to me, I said, well, when are we gonna do it? He said, today. I'm like, what? He said, yeah, we'll do it this afternoon. I said, now, if you're, because he said, I have this surgery, and you know me, my smart mouth. Well, sir, you know, if you're gonna be tired, we can postpone it till tomorrow. I mean, I'm okay with that. He started laughing, and I signed him consent. He said it could be as easy as him cutting where my original hernia was, because he said the hole, I felt it was cut all the way up here. The hole was only about this big. He said the trick is, he said the trick is trying to stuff all of that in. That's exactly how he said, stuff all of it in. He said, if not, I'll have to cut you a little bit more to try to stuff it in there. He said, one of the worst case scenarios would be we would get in there and examine your bowel, and part of it would be dead, since, it'd been twisted since Monday. He said, then we'd have to do this and this. We'd do the mesh. I don't know. So then, the last thing he said, you understand that it could also mean colonoscopy. He said, I simply don't know until I go in there. There's a lot of variables. I said, well, I hope that doesn't happen. This is a religious hospital. He prayed. He said, it's not optional, but he and I and 2 nurses all held hands and prayed over me. The day of the surgery, one of the nurses, she had a prayer cloth, and she said it was anointed, and she said she took it wherever she went. It was a country cloth. And she gave it to me and said, I want you to take it with you. This hospital let me take it in the operating room. She and another nurse, they all prayed for me. The people that came to get me before they took me down, the nurse that gave me the cloth insisted on praying for me. So they stopped and they all prayed for me. And Mrs. Sarge had me just choking up on the way to the ER because the thought of it, and then telling the story to the 2 ladies that took me down to the OR. Y'all recognize him, don't you? Mrs. Sarge kept saying, as she said in her video, that she wanted to come see me. And so she made it just in time. Her and Logan stepped in, and they were wheeling me out this room. She hugged me real tight, told me she loved me, and she said, I brought him, and then she said, I hope it brings you as much comfort as it did Amy. And I just, oh my God. And so they're like, oh, that was so nice of her. And then I had them in tears because I'm telling them what happened and why this was so important. So we get downstairs, and by this time, anesthesiology has talked to me. So we're sitting in the middle of the OR room, I guess where it branches off into the rooms, and it smells so good in there. And we're all talking, they're waiting. I kept telling them, look, I signed an anesthesia consent. So we go in there, and the doctor's in there. And I don't know why, but the 2 anesthesiologists were older gentlemen. They were from the same generation as my doctor, who's old school. They were older gentlemen. And you could tell they knew each other. Y'all, I was so nervous when I had my eye surgery, but when I went in there, I felt so calm. I was a little nervous when they wheeled me in there. But once I got on the table, and the 2 older guys stayed really close to me, the 2 anesthesiologists, they were talking softly to each other. Dr. Gold kept, my surgeon kept yawning, and I wanted to go, we can, if you're tired, we can do it tomorrow. They asked the doctor to hold something, and they clipped the tube, and they sucked out the rest of what they could so that I wouldn't aspirate. That GI tube, they pulled it out and put a fresh one in. I had that tube in my throat, down my nose, from Monday until yesterday. Yesterday afternoon. That's how long I had it. They took it out and replaced it, but I told the doc, when this thing comes out, it's going to stay out. So you be sure when you take it out that you want it out. And so they replaced it so I could have a fresh one in while I was under. It took 4 hours for the surgery. Basically what came out of the surgery was, it was not only pinched, but it was twisted. He said the bowel wasn't dead. He said I had some dead fat. And he said because my bowels were living outside my body for so long, he said you had a lot of innards out there. It pushes the fat wall and everything off to the side to accommodate room. And part of my fat died. So he took it off. I go, Doc, did you take some extra? I wouldn't have minded. He started laughing, and he just patted me on the hand. And so he cut that away. And so what he did was, he said when he got everything in, I was left with the bulge pouch. So what he did, since that was such weak skin, he cut it, almost did like a skin removal, cut it, and then put the stronger ends together. Y'all would have seen it if you're on my Insta, and I shouldn't show it if you're not on my Insta. When they changed my dressing, I had my nurse take a picture. And if I can get it to work on here, I'll show you a picture. He couldn't do the ortho because I'm so big. He said what they do for those surgeries is they blow it up with air so they can see. And because I'm a large, there was no room. Okay, I'm warning y'all, look away for about 10 seconds if you're squeamish. Do one more thing real quick. Can you see that better? Yeah. He had to take my belly button. That's a man-made one. He made it. He had to take my belly button. He said because of all the damage and it being weak and everything. I remember I told y'all I had problems with my belly button. He said, I don't know if it's going to stay, but I did one for you because when he told me he was going to take it, I said, oh. He said, I'll try to build you. I said, please try to build me a new one. I mean, I'll do what you got to do. But so he did. And but he said that even though the intestines are not dead, they are thin and traumatized. And so he wanted to leave the G-tube in my throat so that I wouldn't back up and start vomiting and stuff. He wanted to make sure things stayed clear because his biggest fear was the sutures blowing. He doesn't normally do a pressure bandage, but I have one on now. He said, I just wanted to be safe. They've been checking blood work, checking my white cells counts constantly. And because my gut's so traumatized, I finally, y'all, the last time I ate was last Sunday, like the Sunday night before I came in here. And I just got to eat yesterday. And he had me on liquids all day yesterday and for breakfast this morning. So, you know, those digestional things, they want to make sure you did and everything. Oh, got a pinch, y'all. He did he put me on food. Y'all, I had a hamburger with real bread. I was feeling guilty, but I'll tell you how good I'm doing. They brought in a piece of chocolate cake. It was the first thing I saw. And I looked at the dietitian. I said, I am diabetic. And I knew I was supposed to be on diabetic diet because my doctor, when he talked to me this morning, telling me he was going to try me on solid foods, he said, you're diabetic, right? I said, yes, sir. So he wrote some notes down. So I looked at the lady and I said, look, I'm a diabetic. I don't think I'm supposed to have that chocolate cake. Now, she could have said it's diet chocolate cake. I would have been, okay. When she came back with my tray, there was no chocolate cake on it. So I'm still trying to be good. But after I took a bite of the first part of the burger, and yes, I did eat most of the bun, not all of it. I didn't eat all my burger. But I took the bite, I started eating it. And yes, for all of the O's who freak out about my chewing, I'm having to force myself to chew slower just because I don't want any problems. And I started on my second bite and my stomach started to hurt. And my mom was here with my sister. And I sat up and I looked at my mother. I said, oh my gosh, this might not have been a good idea. And she goes, what's the matter? I said, my stomach is hurting really bad. And she goes, oh no, she goes, slow down. See, I'm going to wait a few minutes to eat. I'm just going to wait. So I waited a little while. So I had one of the tiny bags of potato chips. Y'all, that was like heaven. And I took the lid off. After that, I took the lid off the burger and just started eating it real slow. It's feeling full, but I'm not in pain. So that pain went away. So hopefully there will be no repercussions for me eating an actual meal today. If, and I got a big if from both, I have two doctors that look out for me. If everything goes well and I take the food and nothing else happens, I should be able to go home tomorrow. And that's exactly how my doctor put it. If everything goes well and you take the solid foods, you should be able to go home tomorrow. But we'll see. He wants to take it slow. He's really concerned about the gut. He has taken a lot of care. He came in Saturday, and I was told that they have weekend doctors that work shift. And so I was expecting the second doctor. Early Saturday, in walks my surgeon. Y'all, he looked so nice and sniffy. He had a tie and a jacket on. I said, "You smelled so good." And I said, "Ma, you're looking off extra snazzy today." He goes, "Well, I was on my way to church." No, that man came in before going to church to come see me. I couldn't believe it. And he came in Sunday to talk to me. I couldn't have picked a better place, y'all. I've been really, really happy. There were a couple of things that happened that I was not happy about, and I'm going to overshare, y'all, so. Don't they know I'm former corrections, and I know when somebody's hovering in front of my door? Same guy walked by me 3 times. Walks by again, I'm going to call the nurse's station. Anyway, I had the surgery Thursday. So, as soon as I was on the recovery table, I had the urge, to fart. So I did, but it felt like I did more than fart. So I asked the lady in the recovery room, "Well, let me look." No, I don't see nothing. Okay. A couple hours later, when I was on the floor, in the room, I did it again. And I told 2 different nurses, "Will you please check?" "Yeah, no, I don't see nothing. I don't smell nothing. I don't see nothing." Friday morning. Saturday morning. They have to do something, so they have to clean me up because I'm trying to go to the bathroom or something. And because I had a Foley catheter in right after surgery. So they pulled the catheter out, and we were doing stuff, and I asked one of the nurses to check. Y'all, I've been sitting in my whole poop for almost 24 hours. Yeah. I was humiliated. I was upset. The nurses were upset. They're like, "This is just unacceptable." They were upset, so they cleaned me. My hair looked like crap. I smelled like sweat. That's why I'm keeping Sarge's dog over here, because I really haven't been able to thoroughly wash, and I'm not stinking up the doggy. So, that was the only really bad thing. They had another doctor that kind of yanked on my binding wrapper like she was lifting up her 7-year-old's t-shirt. You know what I mean? And I looked at her and I'm like, "Getting kind of rough there, Doc." You know me, be your own advocate. I said, "You're getting kind of rough there, Doc." "Oh, I'm sorry." And then yanks it back down. I thought, if she touches me, it's going to be a rumble in the hospital. But I told everybody, "I'm a sissy Lala, please be gentle. It really hurts." And they were all very accommodating. When the G-tube went in on Monday, I didn't want it. And another doctor kind of was not very truthful with me because I told him my anxiety. Well, they told me I was putting a G-tube in. They didn't want things to back up since now they know there's a blockage. So I get why. But I told him, that thing in the nose scares me more than potential surgery. I understand. He said, "I'll see if I can get you something to help relax you." Nurses that did it told me that they don't do stuff like that. But I found out they do it all the time. And he never made sure I got the stuff. So when they brought it, they put KY at the end, that tube, the part that goes in first. Y'all, they get it in this much. I scream going, "It hurts." I pull it back out. They got mad. Second chick comes up behind me and goes, "I'm going to hold the back of your head." And all I could think of was, I'm going to headbutt you. I'm going to headbutt you if you try to not make me move my head. They were just doing their job, but I was not in the mood, okay? I already knew what it was going to feel like. So then they get it to your throat and they tell you, "Swallow, swallow." I'm like, swallow my ass. I want to vomit. But it went in there, and I was so unhappy. I was crying, and then they told me they were going to suck stuff out and then pull it out. Here we are, 6 days later? I didn't get told till I was up here, because I told the people, don't lie to me. Just be honest, even if it's something you don't want to tell me. I'm that way. I keep it real. I want people to keep it real with me. And so they told me, no, you're going to have this in for a few days till the doctor says pull it out. You know, given everything that has happened, I get it. I get why. But, well, 30 minutes. This is supposed to be a quick video, y'all. I think I'm due with my Toradol. That's why I'm still awake. Been in and out of sleep. I couldn't get me my PAP machine, but they've had me on oxygen. And everybody that comes in, I'm still wearing it. Do you wear oxygen at home? And I try to tell them, I wear a CPAP machine, but because the thingy was in my nose, they couldn't find a mask that would fit. The mouth mask they had indentations for the nostrils. Well, even if I could get my nostrils in there, it would leak. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't get sleep. So I told them when I had my eye surgery, all the hospital did was put oxygen on me. So that's what they did. Well, I kept it on all the time because of the morphine and the Toradol. I never knew when I would just drift off to sleep. And they finally decided to put me on oxygen because they would come running in here, and I'm like, what's the matter? Take a cup rest. Are you okay? Yeah. Your SATs went down to 88. I'm like, yeah, it's because I need a CPAP machine. And, you know, so that's when they finally decided to put me on oxygen. And then a couple of times it wasn't in there, or I had to take it off. But people would come in and go, are you on oxygen at home? I said, no, I keep it on because if I just happen to fall asleep, I'm not scaring y'all. So they didn't bug me after that. Okay. Okay. So, but they have all been so very sweet. Some of the nurses, when they leave during the day, you know, they come say goodbye to me. Had a couple of cute little intern girls trying to be nurses from Vista College, and they asked to take my vitals, you know, I guess to practice. And then they were looking at each other like, you ask her. No, you ask her. I said, finally said, what? Can we look at your hernia? I said, of course you can. I said, just please be careful. Will you remember your sis Lala? Yes, I am. So I lifted up my shirt and they were looking. I said, you can touch it if you want, just don't poke it. Okay. So they're like, I said, yeah. I said, that whole lump is the hernia. What? I'm like, yep. It's been growing for a long time. So at the end of the day, it was their very last day of rotation at this hospital. The very end of the day, the first one came in. I just wanted to thank y'all. Thank you. You were so nice. She hugged me. I said, well, where's the other one? Well, she has something. I said, you tell her I'm mad at her. Not came and said goodbye to me. So she comes running. I'm so sorry. I was just busy. So she hugs me and thanks me. And I said, well, maybe. I said, not that I want to come in here next time, but maybe if I'm here with a family member or something, you'll be full-fledged nurses. Okay, and I'll be your nurse anytime. They were real sweet. I have really nothing but good things to say about this hospital. I mean, a couple of glitches. That's going to happen, you know, so I'm not mad. They give you this thingy, and I also want to tell, they call her something else, but it's basically like a liaison. And it's called Creation Health, and I can't read it all because I don't have my readers on. And I told her that I had a YouTube channel and that I would be mentioning the good care that I've been getting. And she kind of really wanted me. Every letter of the word creation means something. Choice is your first step. Rest is important to your recovery. Environment is everything around us. Activity can improve the health of your mind, body, and spirit. Isn't that true? Trusting God speaks to the relationship between spirituality and healing. They're very big on that at this hospital. The I is interpersonal relationships with family, friends, and others are important to your well-being. They treat visitors very well here. They don't ignore them when they come into the hospital. They answer any questions that you might have or they might have. O is for outlook. Outlook is your view of life and hope for the future. And N is nutrition, is the fuel for your body and mind. You know, there again, you are what you eat. So they give you this patient guide. A lot of informative stuff in here. I was very happy. And these people were, I really can't say enough to you about how well I've been treated in this hospital. Seriously. So here we are, a short video, 33 minutes in. I probably will publish it right away. I won't post all the bells and whistles and stuff. I'm getting kind of tired and fatiguey. Is that a word? Fluffy, is that a word? My niece will be staying with me until the kid gets home, which should be soon. She wanted to try to get a flight out and come to be with me. I encouraged her not to. I told her, we have grandma here and I'll be fine. I promised her that as soon as, if anything, even silly changed with me, like diet or whatever, that she would be notified. And so that she should just stay and just finish it out. So my niece will be staying with me until that happens, because I had asked her in front of my mother, in front of my sister, I said, I don't feel comfortable being in my house alone. If there's somebody there, then I'll be fine. So she's going to. So we did a Walmart pickup. So if I leave tomorrow, I shop at the same place, Walmart, all the time. And I told them tentatively, we'll be there tomorrow. If not, it may be the next day. They said that would be fine. That Walmart is very accommodating to me. But what made me laugh and what made me want to mention it to you is, as people were saying goodbye, now they work the weekend, so they're off the next couple of days. And so they wanted to say their goodbyes to me and stuff. And I thanked them. And I really like you. You're so forward. I said, yeah, you never have to wonder what I'm thinking. No. I said, well, and I was talking about something, and I said, I tell my viewers all the time, be your own advocate. You have a right to say what you want. You have a right to get what you want, unless it's medically unnecessary or medically impossible. Tell them what you know. They're not going to know until you speak up. And I said, and I can't be anything else but me. I probably overdid symptoms. Look, this is how I'm feeling. Oh, no, that's good. Or, oh, I'm glad you told me, or something like that. So, because they get overwhelmed with stuff. So my blood sugar, y'all, I had an Italian freezy pop, Italian icy, pure sugar. My blood sugar held. I've been on Lantus. It's the long-acting sugar. They say everybody ends up taking Lantus because everybody's sugar goes up. Stress causes the blood sugar to go up. Only problem that I've been having is keeping the potassium up. And they said that's from the G-tube, the GI tube. Because it's literally sucking everything from you. Number one, I haven't eaten. But all the juices and stuff, everything that goes in, it's just sucking it right back out. Nothing's staying in. So he said that's very typical for GI tube. So hopefully that won't last very long. Had a little scare this morning because they finally gave my potassium to me orally, because I hadn't been able to take anything in. It's all been through my IV. And so they made me drink it. So I had more juice than I thought, and my stomach bloated up again. Remember I told y'all sometimes if I eat too much or too fast, that it would back up at the hernia? Well, it started to get that feeling, and I was like, oh my God, not again. It's not holding. Something's wrong. So I decided to go walking because they have wanted me to walk. I walked 1 time today, 3 times yesterday. I've been out of the bed. So I said, you know what? Let me go walk around. Maybe that'll help. So, right before that, I had this urge to go to the restroom, and I told the nurse, I said, before I leave, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. Well, I did my business, and then, y'all, I don't hardly ever burp. You notice that I kind of don't in my videos. Right now I'm hiccuping. I've been hiccuping ever since the tube's been in and out. I let out the biggest belch, and all I could taste was apple juice. I took that potassium, and they mix it with juice in order for it to taste better. And so I drank more than I normally would. So as soon as that got released, my stomach just went. So then when I had the first couple of bites of the burger, I was like, oh my God, I made a mistake. Oh my God, I made a mistake. So, but I'm feeling okay, feeling a little full. So I'm just kind of waiting, laying around. Hopefully it'll travel through and it's not going to hurt the weak bowel. But that's where it is. Y'all, I don't know when I'll do another mukbang. I'm pretty sure that y'all understand that. I'll try to vlog while I can, but my niece is going to be with me. And y'all, of all the luck, I kept telling you those pit bulls are illegal next door to me. Right before I left, I told you I let my dogs out. How about Molly was in the neighbor's yard? Those pit bulls have ruined that chain link fence. There's an opening somewhere now. And I didn't want to scream at her and make her run off, further into the yard. So I just went to the back door, started calling them all, and then she came. So I don't know where she went in and out. So I pulled her back in. I had gotten a voicemail while I was trying to nap. I heard the phone ring, but I didn't answer it. It's my rental agent. They want to do an inspection of the property either last week or sometime this week. I never called them back either because what am I going to tell them? The house is a wreck right now. I'm not home. I'm sure the dogs are making a mess of it. So I'm going to try to see what my niece can do to help me straighten it out because I can't do anything. So yeah, and so I asked, when I told them when they volunteered to let my dogs out of the house 2 or 3 times a day, I explained about the fence. I said, them going into the neighbor's yard, I don't like it, but that's not the big deal. It's if she goes through and they happen to let them out and Molly gets chewed up. I would never forgive myself. I mean, it wouldn't be my fault, but my poor kid. And, Rottweilers pit bulls when they poop, Molly eats poop. So they've been keeping a close eye, but my niece says that she has not seen the pit bulls outside. I said, yeah, because they've had to clean the poop out and they probably moved them because they're not supposed to have them. So I thought, when it rains, it pours. So, but that's where I am. So I'm still alive. I've been very weak. I hadn't even been talking to my daughter a whole lot, except the last couple of days. Because I either talking got me out of breath, and then I just had to sleep. And then I had to let her off the phone because I had a Ralph. So I'm usually really good about answering emails and Insta posts and even comments on the videos. I just haven't been able to do it. So this will take a lot out of me. That's why I'm not going to put any of the bells and whistles. I'm just going to upload it like it is. But I'm trying to stay cheerful in here, trying to make the nurses laugh. Hospitals can be a dreary thing. So when I get more strength back, I'll start videotaping it again. I mean, like now, I didn't think I'd feel well enough to videotape. And even though my tummy feels a little tight from the burger, and I know it's working hard at, feels weird not to have that giant lump, y'all. Not going to have a little man on me. Won't be able to do that for a while. He's going to hate it. I'm going to hate it. I miss my dogs. Pain in the asses. Thank you for all the private emails and all of that. I really thank you so much for it. It means a lot to me. Thank you, Mrs. Sarge, for loaning me Amy's doggy and for coming to see me and for doing the update video for me. I appreciate that. Y'all, sorry I haven't been filming, but I just really, truly I believe that you understand. Having said that, God bless y'all. Positive vibes out to each and every one of you. Remember to always be kind and be your own advocate. I love y'all, and I will talk to y'all real soon, okay? Bye.